My mother told me that moving out would kill her, and then asked me to sign a document promising I'd come back. She slid it across the kitchen table while my dad drank his third beer of the morning. I'm 23. I was raised in a traditional South Asian household in a small English town. We were one of maybe 3 Indian families in the entire area. My whole childhood was a tug of war between wanting to fit in and being reminded at home that I was different. My parents aren't villains. They love me, but their version of love looks like control. Every relationship I had growing up got interrogated. Every friend got vetted. When I finally got my first real job last year and started saving to move out, the war began. My dad's been drinking for a decade. It got bad around the time the shop started losing money. He owns a corner shop with my mom, and for years I'd come home from work to find them screaming at each other. Dad slumped in his chair, mom throwing plates. I'd play referee. My sisters never did. They moved out, got married, stayed quiet. I was the youngest and the only son, which meant culturally I was expected to stay forever. I started having panic attacks at 19. I didn't know that's what they were. I thought I was having a heart attack the first time. Hospital sent me home with a pamphlet about anxiety. I hid it under my mattress because I knew what my mom would say. Therapy is for weak people. Indian boys don't cry. Figure it out. So I figured it out, quietly, for 4 more years. Then, I got promoted. Good salary. A friend from work was looking for a flatmate in the city, 40 minutes away. I said yes before I even told my family. I knew if I thought about it too long I'd talk myself out of it. I told my mom on a Sunday. She went silent for about 10 seconds. Then she started crying. Not regular crying. Full wailing. My dad came in from the living room already drunk and started yelling. How could I abandon them after everything they'd done? Who was going to help with the shop? Who was going to take care of them when they got old? I told them I'd still visit. I told them I'd still help with the shop on weekends if they needed. I told them the flat was an investment and I might rent it out in a few years. None of it mattered. My mom kept saying the same sentence over and over. You are leaving me alone with him. That one hit. Because she wasn't wrong. I sat at the kitchen table that night and thought about it for hours. My dad had passed out on the couch. My mom was in her room, probably crying. The shop was quiet. The whole house felt like it was holding its breath. I realized I'd been holding my breath for 8 years. The next morning I told my mom I was still moving out. She lost it. She brought out a sheet of paper she'd handwritten in Gujarati. It was a contract. It said I would return home within 2 years. I would help with the shop every weekend, and I would not marry anyone without their approval. She wanted me to sign it. I looked at the paper. I looked at her. I looked at my dad coming into the kitchen already holding a beer at 9 a.m. I said no. She started shouting. She said I was betraying the family. I didn't shout back. I wasn't going to. I just said one thing. Mom, I've been raising you both since I was 15. I'm tired. She stopped mid-sentence. I told her I wasn't abandoning her. I was living. There's a difference. She sat down at the table and cried. Not the performance cry. After a while, she said, I don't know how to be alone with him. I told her she didn't have to be alone. She could leave too. She could come live with one of my sisters. She could go to India and stay with her brother. She could sell the shop. She had options. She just never let herself see them. She looked at me like I'd said something in a foreign language. Divorce wasn't a word that existed in her vocabulary. I moved out 3 weeks later. My friend helped me pack. My dad didn't come out of his room the day I left. My mom cried at the door and told me to call when I got there. I did. The first night in the flat, I slept through the entire night. No yelling. A month in, my mom called. She told me she'd looked into renting out the upstairs of the shop to get extra income. She told me she'd joined a women's community group at the temple. She told me my dad was still drinking, but she was thinking about what I'd said. Options. 6 months in, she visited the flat for the first time. She looked around at my clean kitchen and my plants and my life that didn't involve refereeing anyone. She sat on my couch and said, I should have let your sisters breathe like this too. I didn't say anything. I just made her tea. She drank it slowly and watched the city through my window. Before she left, she said, I was scared if you left I'd lose you, but you came back today. You called yesterday. You're here. Maybe leaving isn't losing. That was 6 months ago. She's still figuring things out with my dad, but she's figuring. That's more than she was doing when I lived at home. I'm 23. I have a flat, a life and lungs that finally work properly. I should have done it at 19.